Hi Cameron James subscribers and welcome back to the channel. My name's Dominic James Murray, CEO and founder here at Cameron James. Okay, so today we are going to be discussing Expat Financial Advice, exactly what that is and a few areas which I think are important for us to discuss. Okay, so starting off with, Expat Financial Advice is obviously focused on expatriates. This is people who are living abroad from the normal country of residence. Typically speaking, here at Cameron James, we work with a lot of British nationals who are residing in other parts of the world, such as Europe, the Middle East, America, etc. Now, when it comes to Expat Financial Advice, I would say there's two very different and distinct ways which you can look at Expat Financial Advice. There's kind of the good, and then there's the ugly, so to speak. So what I would say in terms of good expat financial advice is you are an expatriate living in a country which you're not your home residence. As such, you typically might have, say, let's pick France as an example. You might have local investment products in France, for example, an assurance vie to be in line with tax efficiency in France. However, at the same time, you likely have UK pensions, ISAs and assets, even property back in the UK, possibly assets and property in other countries as well. So ideally, what you need is a financial advisor who understands, okay, I get France, I understand that side of things, I've done my homework, I've done my research, I'm familiar with products there, but I also understand the UK, I'm familiar with that, and as such, I can provide you with financial advice on each specific market in which you're living or have assets in. That, in my opinion, is an example of good expat financial advice. Typically speaking though, in our industry, a lot of financial advisors pretend to be expat financial advice, but all they're actually doing is just providing people with the same solution. No matter which country they're in, no matter where they live, they're giving them the same offshore bond with typically the same commission structure and making quite high fees and charges and wrapping it up as tailored advice to this person, which is often very not true. So for example, if we go back to the example of France again, if you're living in France and you're planning to retire in France, spend a long period of time in France, a local assurance vie contract in France is likely going to be one of the better options for you. We can go into that in more detail into another video, but after a period of 8 years, you have a lot of tax efficiency. Anybody who lives in France will know that social security and taxes are quite high in France. So an assurance vie will protect you from those taxes long term. However, there are many expat financial advisors in France who are still selling people offshore commission bonds, Isle of Man, Guernsey, etc., which whilst they might have gross roll-up and these other things, they're not a tax-efficient structure or solution in your country of residence. As such, what I would say about expat financial advice is to be very careful and ensure the person that you're working with is actually qualified, regulated as well in the jurisdiction in which you're based to provide you with quality financial advice in your country and also in your home country. Now, another take on this is that the term expat financial advice, very often you might not necessarily need expat financial advice. Say for example, you're a British national living in America, let's take that as an example, and you may have an advisor in America who's looking after your 401ks, your IRAs, you're good, you've got your investment account. America is actually one of the cheapest markets for investment platforms, TD, Ameritrade, etc. They have really good accounts over there. So you may well actually have everything already sorted in the US. What you're then looking for is a financial advisor who can look after your UK pension assets. So you might not necessarily need an expat financial advisor. You just need someone who understands UK financial advice and pensions and can actually give you good quality advice on that. Obviously here at Cameron James, we're FCA regulated, we're also SEC regulated. So whether you want help with your UK, your US or both, we're well positioned to look after you. But the point is you don't necessarily need to fall into the trap of taking expat financial advice. And the reason I say trap is that very often unscrupulous advisors who work beyond the UK who are not FCA regulated, typically speaking, will be using offshore commission bonds to increase their fees and charges and receive back-ended commissions without you necessarily having so much understanding of what's happening. So guys, if you would like to have a conversation about expat financial advice, whether you're not sure whether you should be speaking to a local advisor in your country, speaking to a UK advisor, or potentially both, you can book in below in the description via Calendly, straight into our diary where you have a confirmation email come through to you with full due diligence. You can also use the WhatsApp link in the description box below as well to start an informal conversation with myself before moving on to a more formal appointment. So those have been my main points in terms of expat financial advice. And the reason that even though my company, we started off as Cameron James Expat Financial Planning, Actually, to tell you the truth, over the course of the years, we've become less expat focused almost, and now a lot of our work is actually based in the UK. UK nationals who are UK residents who are planning to stay in the UK for the rest of their life. So we actually probably need to do a bit of a branding update. Obviously, we still work with expats and we still work with a lot of people all over the world, but the UK has become one of our bigger markets now. And again, just go back to that point, which is important. The reason I kind of have a little bit of a dim view sometimes of expat financial advice is because outside of the UK, the level of regulation and security is very, very low. Even in America, which is a very well-regulated market from the SEC, commissions are still rife in America. Very often our providers are asking us to talk about annuities and other solutions and products that we could use with them, but actually there's still a lot of commission involved in that market, even though it's one of a more regulated market with the SEC. Outside of that, in Europe, the Middle East, very often there's a very low level of financial regulation, or there's regulation, but it allows the financial advisors to take hidden commissions and charges on your policy. If you compare that to the United Kingdom, which I would always say the United Kingdom is probably the best and most well-regulated market in the world, it means that obviously any advice that you're given in the United Kingdom, commission is banned. It was banned in 2012. The Retail Distribution Review, which the FCA brought out at the time, means advisors cannot charge you commission. If they want to charge you a fee, it must be transparent. It must be written down. For example, in the UK, we have to show a percentage and the pound amount of any of our charges. We actually do this across all of our markets now to have best practice as per FCA standards. So guys, I hope that's been useful for you in terms of expat financial advice. Please always remember to subscribe below, hit the red button to keep more videos coming from ourselves, and also just to let us know that we're doing content that you're enjoying. Guys, have a great day, and as always, look after your pensions and speak of you soon. Thank you.